Okay, so today was the Women's FA Cup final in front of a world record attendance for a women's club game of 77,319 at Wembley. That's nearly double the last attendance, by the way. So just putting that out there. But it was between Chelsea and Manchester United. It really was a tale of two halves. I don't think Manchester United, their game management, they didn't pace themselves throughout the game. They shot out the blocks in the first half, and within 20 seconds they've had a goal disallowed for offside via VAR. And yes, it is the correct decision. But Chelsea were rattled by that. They were rattled by that. And this is a Chelsea side that got a lot of fixture congestion to contend with because of their European odyssey as well. They're missing key players. Players are ill or injured or suspended. They really were rattled. They didn't look comfortable in the first half at all at the back. They didn't look comfortable in possession. They didn't have a lot of the ball. It was Manchester United dominating the first half. Did not take advantage of that possession. Not to say that Chelsea didn't have opportunities, because they did, but it was Manchester United dominating the pace of the game, the intensity of the game, and the possession. They were dominating. They were dictating. Now, both goalkeepers have pulled off some very, very good saves in the first half. Berger with a reaction save, and Earps with a reaction save as well, and some other good play. But right at the end of the first half, Nikita Paris is fouled. I think it should be a penalty. VAR still gives it as a free kick, and I think that's where VAR has got that one wrong. Now, has VAR and the VAR official looked at it? The contact starts outside the penalty area before the foul is completed, so the challenge is completed inside the penalty area. That will be the debate, but I think that should have been a penalty. Had that penalty been given instead of a free kick, we may be talking about a different result or extra time. Half time is 0-0. Now, Manchester United at this point have dominated the game. They're, as I say, dictating the pace, the tempo, the intensity. They're dictating the possession. Second half, the first 15 minutes of the second half is actually very open end to end. Both sides are creating chances. Chelsea have relaxed into the game. They've had that 15-minute half time. They've obviously had a dressing down in the dressing room. They have basically read the riot act in the dressing room. So for the first 15 minutes of the second half, it's a very even, open, entertaining. It's far more entertaining than the first half. I felt the pace of the game from Chelsea's point of view increased. They had more assertiveness on the ball. And then the key substitution when Pernille Harder comes on the field, one of the best players in the women's game. That's the key moment. Manchester United, if they were going to have a chance in this game, would have to take advantage with Pernille Harder not on the field. They didn't. And when Pernille Harder comes on, Chelsea go up a gear. Man United look puffed. They looked out of it. They looked exhausted. They hadn't paced themselves. They were rushing plays. And of course, Pernille Harder creates the goal for Sam Kerr to score the only goal of the game on 67 minutes. Because when Pernille Harder gets the ball, all the defenders go towards her. They're player watching, ball watching. They know she's a threat. And Sam Kerr is unmarked in the box. And Manchester United had several attacks like this, so did Chelsea. But that moment, Pernille Harder's fresh on the field, fresh legs, impact substitute because she's been coming back from an injury. And at this point, Manchester United haven't paced themselves. It's been quite a warm day. The rain that was expected to be falling now isn't falling. So the weather forecast has changed. It was meant to be raining at this point, which would have cooled the players down in the second. That hasn't happened. So Manchester United have exhausted themselves, not taken advantage of the possession that they had, and it's cost them. Now, it was still frantic towards the end. Manchester United still were having a go towards the end. Chelsea, I think, were a little bit conservative in some of their substitutions and tactical changes after that. I'm not a big fan of taking off a forward player, putting on a defender when you're only 1-0 up in a game. It doesn't matter if it's a regular season game or a cup game or a cup final or an international. I'm never a fan of that when you're protecting a 1-0 lead. Push for the second, push for the third. Stay on the front foot. And I'm not a fan of that. And that led to some nervy moments in the last 5-10 minutes. But Manchester United looked exhausted by the end. I think they made some tactical changes that didn't work, which disrupted the flow that they did have in the first half. They made some changes in the second half, which didn't pay off. But as I say, didn't take advantage of their dominance in the first half. And you could say, is it a fair result? I think so. I think Chelsea weathered the storm. They looked a bit tired in the first half. In the second half, their experience in this situation. And you look at the Chelsea women's squad, and you look at the Man United women's squad. Chelsea's women's squad is a who's who of international players as well as English players. Manchester United have a couple of internationals, overseas internationals in there, and some of the key members of the England Women's Euros winning side, but less depth and less talented. They've had a very good season, right? But with experience and I think talent depth, I think Chelsea had enough today in the second half. I mean, but they were wobbling in the first half, and then that, you know, if the VAR gives the penalty instead of the free kick, and if the first goal isn't disallowed, we could be having a different discussion about a different scoreline. But game management was key as well. But there we go. Chelsea have run out 1-0 winners in the Women's FA Cup final in front of a world record attendance of 77,319 at Wembley. Every ticket that was available was sold. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll have some more content for you very, very soon.